Listen, I have a question for you. Have you noticed the giant holes in your retirement and investment accounts during the pandemic? Type a yes in the chat or type a me in the chat if you've noticed the holes in your investment account. Pat typed yes. George typed me. Emma typed me. Rachel typed me. We have all suffered losses in our investment and retirement accounts, especially over the pandemic. Listen, are you here to learn about those four holes in your accounts and how to stop that money from gushing out of your account? Listen, why are we risking our retirement money on the stock market? Why are we doing that? Did you know the average investor suffers a loss between $20,000 and $100,000 per year on the stock market? Are you comfortable with those losses? Type in the chat and let me know if you are comfortable with those losses. Anita says no. Maggie says no. Emma says no. Donzella says no. Pat says no. Most people are not comfortable taking those losses, especially out of your retirement. Your retirement is supposed to be a secured income. So if your retirement is supposed to be secured, why are you putting your retirement money into unsecure things? Here's a question. If you lost $20,000 today on the stock market, and it took you 6 months to work and replace that $20,000, how much money did you earn? The answer is zero. So you might as well have placed your money under your mattress because at least you wouldn't have lost anything. Make sense? So listen, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Rochelle Dickerson, and I'm the CEO of Rama Financial Solutions, and I'm a senior manager with Experior Financial Group. I have been in the industry since 1992. I'm a $1 million roundtable member and a high six-figure income ring earner. Our mission at Rama Financial Solutions is to place $1 billion in tax-free transferable wealth into underserved communities. And my heart passion, personal heart passion, and focus is on women and minorities. Why? Because women are left holding the bag a lot of times when our men and our husbands are not there, not knowing what to do. For more information about our agency, feel free to look us up at ramafinancialsolutions.net. Experior Financial Group is our IMO. There are over 3,000 agents. I'm sorry, 4,000 actually. We just hit the number 4,000 over the past couple of months. And Experior is in Ontario, Canada, and Buffalo, New York. And my agency is here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We represent 50 different life insurance and investment companies, both in Canada and in the United States of America. Some of our top carriers are National Life Group, Mutual Trust, American Equity, Mutual of Omaha, Foresters, Loyal Christian Benefits Association, and Transamerica, just to name a few. We only pick the best of the best for our clients. The opportunity is to partner with us in financial literacy and financial education. So I consider myself a financial evangelist. We go out into the community, do group presentations and seminars and outreach, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but most importantly, elbow to elbow, face to face with family and friends. The average financial planner charges between $500 and $10,000 to design a plan, but we do not. We charge no money for our services. In exchange for designing an infinite banking plan for our clients, we ask for 10 referrals. So if you believe the information we share is valuable, who do you know that we should know? Now, let's talk about this subject. Have you noticed the 4 giant holes in your investment accounts? Those 4 holes are taxes. Did you know that every tax deferred plan will be charged 3 times in taxes? Federal taxes will be charged between 10% and 37%. State taxes between 4% and 13%. And if you try to touch the money before age 59 and a half, you will be charged an extra 10% in early out penalties. So the average investor in your retirement account will be charged a minimum of 30% to as much as 60% in taxes. And then there's fees, commission fees, brokerage fees, rollover fees, surrender fees. There's fees for everything. Did you know the average broker fee in a retirement account is between 1% and 3% for the entire life of that account? So you multiply 1% of the entire value of that account and then multiply it by 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 or 40 years. That is multiple millions of dollars that will be charged in fees. The other hole is inflation. If your money is not keeping up with the cost of living, your money is decreasing in value. Inflation runs between 5% and 8% each year. So if you are earning less than 5% interest on your money is decreasing in value every single year. And one of the biggest holes in our bucket is risking your retirement money on the stock market. Again, the average person loses between $20,000 and $100,000 bare bones minimum out of their retirement accounts on the stock market. Why would you do that? So let's talk about the different places where you can save your money. There are 3 different places where you can save your money, or 3 different banking systems. The first one is the bank. And there you'll find savings accounts, money markets, mutual funds, and IRAs. But these accounts have a tendency to pay very low interest rates. The average interest rate at the bank is less than 3%. And if inflation is running at 5 to 8%, then your money is decreasing in value. And they send you a 1099 at the end of the year for both state and federal taxes on the small interest that you earn. So you really earn nothing. As financial planners, we recommend that you only place your emergency money in the bank. We recommend that you keep no more than 6 months worth of emergency expenses in the bank. After that, you should diversify. The second bucket is your tax deferred bucket. These are the plans that you will find on your job: 401k, 403bs, IRAs, deferred comps. But just as the name says, this is putting off your taxes. So, since you are deferring your taxes, when you go take it out, you will be charged both state and federal taxes and an early out 10% penalty before age 59 and a half years old, which means 30 to 60% of the money in this bucket will go back to Uncle Sam. Then you also have penalties, and you're also risking your money on the stock market in the majority of these plans. The third bucket are private industry sources. And these buckets can be tax-free if you choose one of these vehicles. If you choose a Roth IRA, that means you pay your taxes up front, you grow your money tax-free, and you take out all of your money, both what you put in and your growth, will all come out tax-free. The second tax-free vehicle is surrendering or partially surrendering the death benefit of a life insurance policy. Did you know that you can partially surrender life insurance in permanent policies, and instead of paying the money to your beneficiaries, you can pay portions of it to yourself? And if you do that, it is tax-free. The cash values of your life insurance can be borrowed from the policy while your money stays in the policy and grows uninterrupted. And that money is tax-free. Also, life insurance return of premiums. Any money that you put in that is returned back to you comes back to you tax-free. Now, as financial planners, we have a few secrets and tips where we can make your money tax-free as well. One of them is called a backdoor Roth, where we can do a Roth conversion after you've had a 401k inside of a private life insurance company account for over 1 year. We can also recommend something called an IRA trust, where your money can go to your beneficiaries, tax-free or tax-exempt. The first two buckets are called public banking, which means that your Social Security number and account numbers are public information. And if you should go to court and were sued, these two buckets can be taken by any judge, state or federal, in their entirety. The third bucket is the tax-free bucket. And that bucket can be placed inside of a trust or a life insurance annuity or a life insurance policy and be paid to your family tax-free. The third bucket is a private bucket, which means it is out of sight from federal and state government officials and will come to you regardless of the circumstances. The best case scenario is O.J. Simpson, who received over $600,000 in passive income when he came out of jail. And the Goldman family nor the state or federal governments still cannot touch his money to this day. So there are three ways to invest your money. There's variable accounts, which means your broker has put your money on the stock market, or your company, the company you work for, takes your money and buys stocks. In these plans, you can lose your money on the stock market and you'll lose your money in taxes and brokerage or employer fees. The third way is a fixed account, which means they declare one interest rate, maybe it's 4% or 5% for the life of the account. These monies, you will still pay 30 to 60% of what you earn to the IRS. But in an equity index account, which can only be gotten through a life insurance company, when the stock market crashes, your money will sit on the floor. But when the stock market goes up, your money will grow with the market. In the first 10 years, you can pay off the cost of your life insurance policy, which is a permanent policy, or you can pay off all of your surrender charges, thereby making the money completely tax-free and penalty-free after the 11th year. So what is the solution? The solution is an indexed Roth IRA. These can only be gotten through life insurance companies. This is an individual retirement account where the life insurance company gives you a guaranteed interest rate. So when the stock market crashes, your money sits on the floor. But when the stock market goes up, your money mirrors the stock market with no ceiling in a lot of cases. And being as though it's in a Roth, you can grow your money tax-free and take it all out tax-free. If you keep your account for at least 10 years, you will get rid of all of the cost of life insurance and the surrender charges, as long as your broker structures it in that manner, thereby plugging the hole of taxes, plugging the hole of market losses, plugging the hole of brokerage fees, and plugging the hole of not earning enough interest on your money to stay ahead of inflation. The other plans that work the same in a similar manner are an indexed universal life. This is a permanent life insurance policy with an indexed Roth IRA inside. So it is buy permanent life insurance and invest the difference in a tax-free or an indexed Roth IRA. Or You can structure a high cash value whole life where you can borrow from the cash values or partially surrender the death benefit of the life insurance policies and take those monies tax-free. All of these products are structured under the 7702A tax code, which makes the monies tax-free and can build a guaranteed lifetime in passive income. Your banks do it. Why don't you? Banks have been practicing infinite banking since the Great Depression. It's called bank-owned life insurance, or BOLI for short. You can find a report that comes into public access every quarter of every year. This is a copy of bank-owned life insurance from June 20th of 2022. As you can see, Bank of America owns over $24 billion in high cash value life insurance. And when their bank deposits go down under 100,000, they borrow from the cash values of these life insurance policies and keep their money growing in the policy, and then just rinse and repeat. This is also called the Federal Deposit Insurance Companies, which is a conglomerate of life insurance companies backing the banks under the federal government. So you will probably find your bank listed on this report. Here is an example of a properly structured infinite banking policy. Here's a couple, Barbara and David. After speaking with them, we understood that they needed at least $50,000 a year just to pay their bills in today's dollars. We also took a look at their retirement plans and saw that combined, each of them were paying $700 a month out of their paychecks going towards retirement. Over their matching funds, we noticed that they were losing money on the stock market and in taxes. So this couple decided to redirect that retirement money into an indexed Roth universal life policy, which instantly made them millionaires. So if they passed away after paying 1 month's premium, over $1 million in tax-free cash would be paid to their family. But they said they wanted to keep saving until they were 63. Then they want to take Social Security, their pension, and they wanted a tax-free lifetime income. So we structured this plan so that at age 64, they would receive $5,122 per month guaranteed for the rest of their life. And should the market perform well, they will receive more money. But their floor, or their guaranteed income, is $5,122 per month. But this plan is very unique in that, let's go back, tapped it a little too fast, in that even though they're taking this money out every month, their assets will keep growing because they're going to borrow from the life insurance company and keep their money growing in the policy. So although they take this out every month for the rest of their life, their cash values are going to be over 300,000 at age 68. And then over 600,000 at age 73, over 900,000 at age 78, and over 1.2 million at age 83. But that's not all. On top of all of that, they are going to get living benefits. So if the doctor diagnosed them as terminally ill, in need of long-term care, which is chronic illness, critically ill, which are things like heart attack, heart disease, stroke, cancer, and critically injured, which are things like head trauma, severely burned, paralyzed, or in a coma, or if they were diagnosed with Alzheimer's. This policy, they can surrender the death benefit or partially surrender the death benefit for over $800,000. And if it is a long-term care claim, $16,129 per month. So my question to you is, will their 401k do that? Absolutely not. Here's another infinite banking structure that we do through your family bank. It's called Be Your Own Bank. Here's a young couple, Mark and Joyce, age 37 and 35. We took a financial fact finder and found out that they want to retire at age 65. They don't have any money saved for their kids' college. We took down their income, their desired income, and their goal is to pay off their house, to become debt-free, to get control of their spending, to have some money saved for their children's college, and to invest safely without losing their money on the stock market. And we said, Mark and Joyce, we can do that. So we took down a list of all of their debts, how much those companies are charging them in interest on their loans, what the balance of all their loans are, and how much they're paying each month. We put it all into an algorithm. Our algorithm came back with this results. It told us that Mark and Joyce have $180,198 in debt. But when we add up the interest that the loan companies are charging, Mark and Joyce will end up paying $380,157 in just interest, which will keep Mark and Joyce in debt for 30 years. Mark and Joyce will end up paying $199,959 in just interest. What we did, our algorithm structured a high cash value whole life policy where they can borrow or leverage the cash values and the death benefit and get out of debt within 7.8 years. Here are the results. Going the way they were going, they would end up paying $380,175 in interest. They would have only been able to save $120,000 towards their retirement. Using our infinite banking system, they will only pay the principal, $180,198, and they will end up being able to redirect that money towards their retirement. Now, they're going to retire with over $1 million in tax-free cash. Compare the results. Now, I have a question for you. How many of you think you can do what I just did, which is read that PowerPoint and gently convince someone to set money aside towards their retirement, their children's education, or to eliminate debt. Well, if you think you can do what I just did, guess what? This is the place for you. As a business partner, we offer business mentoring, agency mentoring. Our first year agents earn an average of $1,000 per application. Let me show it to you. Now, if you don't think